Norway's fjords are some of the most dramatic landscapes on Earth. Towering cliffs rise straight out of deep blue water. Waterfalls pour down from hundreds of meters above. Small villages sit quietly along narrow strips of land between mountains and sea. But what makes the Norwegian fjords feel so different from other landscapes? The answer begins thousands of years ago. During the last ice age, enormous glaciers slowly carved through Norway's mountains. As these massive rivers of ice moved forward, they cut deep valleys through solid rock. When the ice eventually melted, seawater flooded these valleys. The result was something extraordinary. Long, narrow arms of the ocean stretching far inland, surrounded by steep mountains on both sides. Some of them run more than 200 kilometers into the land. And in many places, the water below is deeper than the mountains are high. One of the most famous fjords is Geirangerfjord. Here, waterfalls tumble down nearly vertical cliffs, creating a landscape that feels almost unreal. Two of the most famous waterfalls, the Seven Sisters and the Suder, fall from hundreds of meters above the fjord. From a boat below, the cliffs appear endless. Mist rises from the water, and the sound of falling water echoes through the valley. Another iconic location is Nærøyfjord, one of the narrowest fjords in the world. At its tightest point, the mountains rise sharply on both sides while the water channel becomes incredibly narrow. Traveling through it feels almost like moving through a giant natural corridor. High above the fjords, viewpoints reveal the full scale of the landscape. Places like Trolltunga, Preikestolen, and the Geiranger Skywalk offer breathtaking views over deep valleys and winding water below. From above, the fjords look like giant cracks in the earth. But the beauty of the fjords is not only found in dramatic cliffs. Small villages bring a quiet human presence to the landscape. Colorful wooden houses line the water. Fishing boats move slowly through calm fjord waters. And narrow roads follow the edges of mountains, connecting communities that have lived here for generations. Despite their scale, the fjords often feel peaceful. The steep mountains block strong winds. The water remains calm. And the silence can be remarkable, especially early in the morning when fog slowly lifts from the water and sunlight begins to reach the mountain peaks. Wildlife also thrives in this unique environment. Sea eagles glide above the cliffs. Porpoises and seals sometimes appear in the fjord waters. And during certain seasons, migrating fish move through these deep channels. The fjords are not just a geological wonder, they are also deeply connected to Norwegian culture. For centuries, people here relied on the fjords for travel, fishing, and trade. Long before roads crossed the mountains, boats were the main way to move between communities. Even today, ferries remain a vital part of daily life. Perhaps what makes Norway's fjords so unforgettable is the contrast. Massive cliffs and quiet villages, powerful waterfalls and calm water, wild nature and human history existing side by side. It's a landscape that feels both dramatic and peaceful at the same time. And once you see it, it's easy to understand why the Norwegian fjords are often described as one of the most extraordinary natural landscapes in the world.